Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Race Spec Esports Euro Series on a Tuesday night. And my name is Webbo. I'm here to bring you round 11 of our championship, and we're out there to Circuito Hermanos Rodriguez, the Mexico City Grand Prix, and round 11 of our championship, which sees currently Armchair Bike is leading the championship for the drivers on 135 points. We have Fioretto slipped down to second position, 12 behind on 1, 2, 3, and then Instant 105 points, with Merin catching fast, as is Jack and Prime. In the Constructors' Championship, Aston Martin lead the way with 209 points, and then on 172 is the McLaren team, with Williams in third, Red Bull in fourth, and Mercedes in fifth place. In terms of race results, Armchair Bike has 3 wins. Fioretto a second and a third with a lot of points finishes. Instant with 1 win, and then the rest of the results are very sporadic, no real trends following at the moment, but it was Armchair Bike that won the last race out, and typically is contesting the wins with his good friend Merin. So we heard from them both last week, and started to understand a little bit about how those guys tick, and very good interview we had as well. Welcome if you're just joining us. Rewind if you want the latest championship standings, and apart from that, just a quick note to say, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow myself on WebboRed5 on Twitter. Now, I wondered why all the cars had rushed out of the pits, and it started to rain in our qualifying session, so that's what we've got. So rain in quali. This will be the absolute best moment for the possible lap times. Alex Pato out there very quickly on medium tyres. Interesting tactic to go on the medium tyres. It shouldn't matter what tyre you qualify on for your starting tyre, as there's a difference in the wet setup. But just heading on in sector 2 now into turns 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Left right. Hanging on to the car as the grip starts to drop, and we go down under the bridge for the braking zone into turn 12 and have passed the second timing beam. Now it's the very tricky, treacherous stadium section, very tempting for drivers to try and make an overtake, but usually ends in tears, and now very difficult to get the car launched out of the final corner and away to the line. Alex on a 1:19.299, beaten by Armchair Bike, a 1:18.0, beaten himself by his friend Merin, 17.445. We've got Instant out there doing a 18.466, deposing Alex. Garbage Man at 1:21.0, doesn't look like it's worked beautifully for him, and just closing out the laps now. Some of the latecomers to their lap times, some people pitting, not happy. Chester is approaching the line, still Merin on pole from Armchair Bike and Instant. Now the track looking very wet. In fact, Chester decided no point continuing on through. Epical Andrew very late out of the pits on soft tyres. I think that one's going to struggle, but we'll join Tidal Wave and see if he can make a complete lap. He was obviously running very wide on the entry into the stadium. I do hope that Tidal Wave wasn't delayed getting out of pits, because he was telling me the weather forecast, which I'm very grateful for. But unfortunately, that was possibly a cause of him being late to leave the pits. But he crosses the line on a 27.6, and that it should give you every indication you might need to know that it's now definitely not dry tyre times. F1 Fanatic, good to have you with us. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to everybody joining. Say hello. Tell us who you're supporting, just as F1 Fanatic has. And we'll join Epical Andrew on the soft tyres as he struggles to get a complete lap done on these tyres. A few drivers out on intermediates. I do wonder though whether some of the drivers will decide to retire from the session, knowing or predicting that it's going to be dry, and save us all a bunch of time tonight maybe. Here comes Epikalandru trying to get the inside line. There's another driver on soft tyres. Perhaps that was a little bit overzealous, but he's going to crab towards the line at 29.617. That's not going to do the job for him, and I wonder if anybody is going to retire early and help us to get through to the next session. Jack is out on a lap, just circulating at the moment. I think he's on an in lap. A few intermediate runners have put the intermediates on. I wonder if they'll come out. So Armchair Bike not particularly happy about our newcomer Ahmed, possibly trying to get himself a gap for qualifying. But yeah, big field spread, 12 seconds separating first and 15th, but that just tells you a little bit about the conditions. F1 Fanatic predicting 5 safety cars. Man alive, I hope not. And if we are going to do that, let's hope we get retirements early from the session. But we've got one car coming out, or is he on his way in? In fact, it's a Mercedes, so yeah, he's coming out because he starts much earlier down the pit lane. So let's see. I guess it must be the drivers who haven't set a time yet. Alex Pazzo has decided to retire, helpfully. Tommy's retired on the tyres. It's actually Prime out there. Going to give it a go. Got a retirement from Jack, Instant, Radical, Tommy, Rockin, all the Passion drivers deciding the same thing. I think potentially Michiel, Drax, Ahmed, Todd and Chester still stand to get a lap in. Whether they can beat the dry time of Epikalandru or Tidal Wave remains to be seen. Ahmed struggling. Prime has invalidated this one. Doesn't seem like a great deal of point to be running here, but so stay with us because there's a good chance that that those times won't improve, and we'll have a dry race ahead of us. Prime then is going to run again, try and run at this lap. Michiel's come out for an out lap, but Drax is on one at the moment, so interesting to see if he can beat those slower times on the soft tyres set by the bottom 3 timed drivers so far. Taking a risky curb straddling line into turn 12. I imagine it's going to be very hard to get the car out of these corners. Short shifting, almost stalling the car. If it had anti-stall, I think that's what he'd be in. And away then to the line. He has beaten that time at 125.394. Interesting stuff from Drax. So up to 14th for him. What about Michiel? Michiel, you can hear the wheel spin in the high gear even. Perhaps it was 5th gear, still spinning the wheels. Eddie says one shot quali, yeah, absolutely. Looks like the driver's just queuing up. I think the bottom 3 have got a vested interest in completing one lap, and then may well get some peer pressure to here to finish up early. We'll be saving about 8 minutes, so it's not the end of the world, but. Michiel in 15th beats Tidal Wave and Ahmed, who set their times on the dry tyres. Still also beating Epikalandru, as does VTOD in the Williams. He gets a 26.896. And just the last one left to register a time is Chester. And across the line in 15th. So looks like it's Merrin from Armchair Bike and let's hope they don't walk away with it. From Instant, Pato, Prime, Alexi got a 6th place there, and then Radical, Furetto, Jack, Tommy, Ferry got 11th, Garbage Man 12th, Rockin 13th, Drax 14th, Chester, Todd, Michelle, Tidal Wave, Ahmed and Epical Andrew make out your total grid. So yeah, a lot of drivers making that similar decision. I wonder if any of the drivers who set a time have gone off to get a sandwich or something, and might not be reading their Discord messages. Anyway, we'll do what we can for you. Let me know what your predictions are. I already know what F1 Fanatic wants. He wants Drax to win. What about Eddie? Unless you're already in the race, Eddie, under a different name. Let me know who you think's going to win, and anybody else watching. Do make sure, please, guys, that you've liked the video tonight, because it's a very small way of saying thank you for the effort that goes into running the stream. Not least from me, but from Alex Pato, who runs the server for us, and all the staff who set everything up for Race Spec. Very small little thing you can do, doesn't cost you anything. Chester's retired, so I'm hoping that everybody follows suit. We've just got a few drivers holding out here. Ahmed's gone out, and he doesn't appear to be listening to people particularly well tonight. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because he's very new and debuting tonight in the league. Lewis says Total Wave for the win. Ahmed is invalidated, so I don't know if well, it's just the outlap, so no big drama. It's the car into the stadium section. I wonder if he'll pit or if he'll run round and try and get a lap together better than that 19th starting position. Currently looks like he's winding up for a start of a lap. Runs to the outside curb, has to feather the throttle because the back was starting to step out, and we'll join Ahmed. Yeah, Tidal Wave saying got delayed, but which is a lot more polite and cool-headed than perhaps he was earlier in the Discord just after the incident, but that's perhaps a very good thing. So Ahmed currently 19th, still sideways moments from him. We've got a yellow flag of just about where there's a Williams circulating. Ahmed's really struggling to get the car turned, and he invalidates this lap as well. I hope that doesn't mean he's going to run the whole session on his own, but we'll see. We'll see. Another yellow flag caused by the same Williams. He's corner cutting to finish the lap off. And some of the remaining cars have decided to come out and have a play on the track. How many safety cars tonight, folks? I think we're on standard safety car regularity, so fairly high rate, but it should be a dry race. Lots of wide runoff areas, a wide track, so apart from the stadium section, not much excuse for the drivers to clatter into each other, and maybe through the S's as well. It gets a bit narrower, a little bit trickier. So Ahmed using the curbs and all the track surface, including the runoff curbs. Very brave there. Going to try and stop the car down into the fourth corner and big lockup on the way in. Safety car is now on reduced. Thank you for that, Tidal Wave. So hopefully that should help matters a little bit. To seem very easily triggered this year. Super safety car this year. Gets a little bit boring, I have to say. Ahmed has invalidated another lap, so that could mean he goes for yet another one. He hasn't retired yet. Michel appears to be out there. Let's see if he's actually attacking a lap. He is. So getting the car in here to turn 6. Now 7, 8, 9 come at the drivers very quickly, and it's so easy to get track limit warnings. I wonder who will get the highest track limit warning count tonight. Ahmed has pitted. I don't know if that's for a new set of inters. If he's coming out, he needs to come out right this minute. Oh, big moment for Michel as the back end steps out in the stadium, and yeah, it's very, very low grip through there, even in the dry. Michel up to 16th. Hopefully he'll be happy with that one. 1 minute 50 left of our session if the remaining 3 drivers don't retire. So Ahmed has retired. It's just Michel and Ferry now, your holdouts. So we'll watch from off board and see lots of Mexican umbrellas up. Track says Jeff can't read the weather radar correctly. That's hardly news, is it? I mean, Jeff is famously poor at that skill. It's a shame we can't level up Jeff. Jeff Mark II would be good. I don't know, maybe they can consider changing the name of the engineer each year. Might be interesting. So front wing off for Michel. So really nothing left to do other than retire here. It's just going to show us some interesting rallycross lines going through the circuit. No attempts made to navigate the circuit here. Ferry finally has retired, and maybe Michel will save us 30 seconds or we'll just watch the pit lane for 30 seconds. So let's wait and see. Hopefully. Tyler Webb says armchair for the win. Not backing himself. Drax saying GG to the boys. Michel sitting there. It's going to watch every second of the clock run out here for us. And that's the end of our qualifying session. Fun as it was, but all the action took place in the first 2 minutes, and then we just watched drivers continuing to drive off the circuit. So our qualifying situation leaves us with a grid led by Merin, and then Armchair Bike, his friend behind him, 6/10 away, but it tells you about the wet session. Instant gets 3rd place. Alex Pato, despite being first out the pits, got a medium tyre run to 4th place. Then Prime, Alexi, Radicals, Furetto, Jack, Tommy, Ferry, Garbage Man, Rockin, Drax, Todd, Michel, Epical Andrew, Chester, Tidal Wave and Ahmed will start at the back of our 20 car grid, which is great to say. So, sun's come out, the flags are being waved. There's one for Prime there, there's one for the Euro Series drivers, of course, which is great to see. There's a Mexican flag, confusingly. There's an Australian one, which is, maybe for the home of Race Spec Esports down in that part of the world. Alex Theodore says, Alex, bro, I don't know, are you supporting? Which Alex are you supporting, Mr. Theodore? So, Merin launches off the start. in the Williams. Williams in 1st and 15th position today. Merrin's in the mood to get on with it, isn't he? Let's have a look at the tyres as well while we go through the order. So Armchair Bike in 2nd place in the McLaren. His teammate starts 19th, Tidal Wave. Instant, one of the many passion drivers with us. Instant in the Aston Martin is 3rd with his teammate Michel in 16th. Then Alex Pato and Alexi, both driving for Alfa Romeo, starting closest of any other teammates, 4th and 6th. Prime splits the difference, racing for Mercedes, with Tommy in 10th behind him. Radicals in 7th place in the AlphaTauri, has his teammate at the back of the field, Ahmed, making his debut with us. Then Fioretto in the limited edition Red Bull livery starts 8th with his teammate in 18th. Jack, the first of the Ferraris, is in 9th place with Rockin in 13th, his teammate. Then we've got the first of the Haas cars in 11th place with his teammate Drax in 14th. It's Ferry starting 11th. And then in the Alpine, the first Alpine is Garbage Man with Epical Andrew in 17th place. And I think that just about takes you through all of the grid. Look for movement from the back. Rockin's gone for hards. Most of the bottom 10 have gone for mediums, apart from Todd, Michel and Ahmed. Right from the back is planning to overtake some cars on the first few laps. So should be interesting, should be good. Plenty to keep us excited. Armchair Bike leading the championship, remember, from Instant, and those guys starting high up the grid for our race start. So should be a championship battle at the front of the grid. Top 3 or 4 of the championship are in the top 3 or 4 positions, which is exactly what we want to see. Here come the lights then. Round 11 of the championship. It's lights out and go, 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 with it looks like Instant getting away pretty slowly, and Alex Pato jumping immediately up to 4th with Prime, his typical super fast launch. Prime up there in currently in 4th, trying to take the outside line as Alex Pato dives down the inside. The Aston Martin and the rearmost Alfa Romeo get turned round. Alex Pato trying to make the most of these medium tyres, and slipping down the order goes Chester, as well as the drivers I previously mentioned. But right at the front, Armchair Bike got Marin straight away, and these two guys typically like to drive away from the field and then battle with each other at the end of the race. But it's all to play for as Michel and Rockin are fighting hard. Side by side go the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. The Aston Martin's got the inside line as he sweeps across towards the turn 7 beginning of the S's. We've got a car, Drax, going right across the apex there, and he might get a penalty unless he had a big lift. And we'll go back up towards the front of the grid, where we have all the cars within a second of each other. But Armchair Bike leads as they go through the final corner of the first lap. It's lap 1 of 36, relatively short lap here in Mexico, and an immediate fastest lap, of course, Armchair Bike from Merin. Tidal Wave gets our first penalty of the evening with Prime in 3rd. Vitard retires from the session. Let's see if we can't see what happened with him. He's crashed on the exit, the pit wall, and I don't know if we'll be able to see from any other drivers. They all pit because it's a VSC. But it's only a VSC, so the cars all reduced down. The rearmost drivers, perhaps the ones who least needed to pit off the soft tyres, all the medium and hard drivers have pitted immediately. I don't think that that car will still be there by the time the drivers get round. Be surprised if this one turns into a full safety car, single car retirement. And indeed, he has disappeared. We've also got Garbage Man in the pits, I think repairing some damage, so there must have been something going on down there towards the end of the first lap at the back of the grid. But Armchair Bike continues to lead from Merin as we go green again. Prime is a second back already, but Alex Pato staying with him. We've got some close running behind with Fioretto and Radicals with Ferry in 7th, Michel in 8th, Jack and Instant 9th and 10th. DRS has been enabled, but not for this particular stretch of track for the two leaders. We know that they will try and pull each other away from the rest of the field in these early laps while on the soft tyres. Prime has been gapped to 1.2 seconds, and Tidal Wave picks up a second penalty in 3 laps, and that's a total of 6 warnings in 3 laps. So yeah, quite an achievement, frankly, from Tidal Wave. A bit further back in the order, Radicals half a second back from Furetto. Likewise, the gap to battle for 8th, beginning with Michel, Jack and Instant. Instant looking to get by here. He's had a bit of a problematic first couple of laps. He puts himself on the outside of Jack, who drives him off the circuit, but keeps his foot in, and Instant gets by around the outside in the entry to the second of the S's, and away he goes. Soft tyres, and now he's got his teammate just ahead of him. So up to P9 on lap 3. But down 6 places overall. Michel, his teammate, up 8, so they've completely swapped round. Merin gets the next fastest lap on lap 4, and the guys pushing each other hard as always. Radicals very close to the car in front, which is Furetto. I thought it was an Alfa Romeo because it was white and red, but it's obviously the white Red Bull. And gets down the inside into turn 1. You can run side by side here because the next turn is a left-hander. But Radicals giving good racing room and receiving good racing room as well. Safety car has been declared. Again, I think we've got Epical Andrew out of the race, and you can see him there as his teammate flies past. Epical Andrew losing it on the exit of the S's. I don't know if he was, if he fell or if he was pushed, but a safety car declared at this early stage, and we've got an early pit stop from Drax there. But just to finish rounding up there the best winners and losers this early stage. Michel P8 up 8, sorry, Chester up 6, Ahmed up 6, and then several drivers having dropped down the order. We've lost 2 of the many blue icon cars, Epical Andrew and Vitor already, but we've got 18 runners for you. Lap 4 of 36 has been started. And is almost over, as now I would imagine our soft runners peeling into the pits. Maybe all of our runners will in fact peel into the pits. Alex Pato goes by, gains 3 places in so doing. Medium tyres going on to Armchair Bike. I don't think mediums will reach the end of the race, so still going for a 2-stop potentially. Ferry going through as well, as did Michel. So interesting tactics there. This is a very early safety car. I would have expected Michel to go in on soft tyres, but the other medium runners from the start, very legitimate tactic to keep running and still be on a 2-stop, or potentially if you're on mediums, I suppose you can do a 1-stop here. But we'll see how this one works out as the field will now condense behind the safety car. Alex Pato, your new leader, on lap 5, having not pitted. Neither did Ferry or Michel or Chester, in fact. And then the leaders before the safety car, Armchair Bike and Merin, 5th and 6th. Armchair Bike having got by Merin there, right off the lights in the first few meters of the race. Merin with pole position, Armchair Bike with 2nd place and the lead of the championship as things stand right now. Hope you're enjoying the race so far. We should have plenty of action for you in the remaining 30 plus racing laps. Please make sure you've subscribed to Race Spec Esports and like the video tonight. You can always cut away from the action as the safety car condenses the field, and quickly like the video and come back to us in the live chat. How many more of these safety cars do you think we're going to have? Let's have a quick look at the penalty situation. We've obviously tracked that Tidal Wave got 2 lots of track warning penalties, but I didn't see Furetto get a 5-second penalty, and that could either be contact or corner cutting, or a pit entry speed limit infringement. Tidal Wave says he doesn't know how, but he got 5 warnings in the first lap. That has to be a record. That's pretty special work from Tidal Wave. So it looks like we'll be heading around the track one more time. Ahmed's in the pits, getting soft tyres on after running hards, I believe. So soft tyres aren't going to do much for him, but he's going to start from the back again on his second set of softs tonight, and try and gain some places off the medium runners in front of him. He might delay the safety car coming in as well, but let's hope not. Hopefully Ahmed can catch the back of the field quickly enough. So Alex Pato will take the restart once we get notification that it's going to happen. Hope it'll be shortly. Any moment now, please, Bernd Nylander. Let us know. Lots of tyre warming going on. We need a nice, smooth, single launch from Alex. No questionable tactics. And I think that car of Ahmed has caused us, that next pit stop of Ahmed and the gap to the back of the field has caused us to run round one more time. So a reminder to, you can always follow me on Twitter, drop me a note, tell me what you've enjoyed today, at WebORed5. Again, very small thing you can do, just to thank people for the effort that they go to. Hoping to hear from Epic Landry and VTOD, but nothing yet from their DNFs. What are your predictions while you watch this safety car lap? What are your predictions for the Grand Prix to come this Sunday? One of the questions I've got about this race to come is, how is Sergio Perez feeling coming to Mexico and knowing that that he either has to beat Max Verstappen in qualifying and then hand a place over, or do the job? Is he feeling positive about it, or is he worried about embarrassment? That's a question I've got for a number 2 driver at his home race. Must be a very conflicted mindset to be in. Safety car will come in this lap, so we'll be back under green flag racing for you very shortly. Let's hope that's the last we see of the Mercedes safety car tonight. Well, Alex Pato then continues warming the tyres. Michel on 6-lap-old softs, won't get many more laps out of those. Alex then just holding up the field. Will he go midway through this corner, or will he wait until he's got the car straight? He's going to wait. He launches the car. Ferry goes with him very successfully, in fact, and we'll get a good slipstream. Alex moves to the right to hold the right-hand side of the track, the inside corner for the first turn, the inside lane for the first turn. And here they go then into turn 1, where they run side by side. Ferry stays there, runs across the apex curb. Alexi with a penalty, 3-second time penalty. And it looks like Armchair Bike getting by already up to P3, getting by Michel immediately. And we've seen this many times before with Armchair Bike. Very decisive, very confident moves, although he's now hit the back of that Haas twice in 2 corners. So he just needs to tone it down a tiny bit, so that he can not end up with front wing damage, because that will ruin his race quick as you like. But Armchair Bike going through the S's and has lost the car, will lose out to his friend Merin, and in fact loses out to Prime as well. Armchair Bike with a penalty as well, going across the apex. He's going to try and get this place back from Prime. Jumps down the inside. Prime hangs on around the outside, and we'll get the inside line for the switchback next turn in here. Merin's gone from the session, so he needs an invite back, I imagine, unless he can pick up one of his old invites. Seems to have ghosted already. And Armchair Bike stuck behind Prime. Prime now getting by, presumably getting by Merin very shortly as they attack the brakes for the first time and waiting for that AI to pick up. I don't imagine the AI is particularly highly set up. Yeah, Prime gets by comfortably into P3. Armchair Bike will do the same very shortly. Yeah, side by side already into this one. Jumps up the order. So Prime has Michel ahead and Alex trying to get away from Michel. We've lost Garbage Man. What's happened to Garbage Man? Let's see if we can see him from Chester's car. He's just after this turn. We've got a VSC and Chester has to slow dramatically. Garbage Man making it 2 Alpines out in the space of, what, 3 racing laps. It's facing completely the wrong direction. So that's what happened to Garbage Man. Up at the front though, Alex Pato continues to lead. And is presumably just now trying to preserve those medium tyres, stretching this one out to a 1-stopper. Ahmed gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC, blotting his copybook tonight somewhat. A 3-second penalty for Chester as we go green again. Must have caught him out on the track where he currently was. Armchair Bike challenging Prime here. Prime on younger soft tyres. Well, no, not. They're at the same age, but they've just done the safety car and restart laps. And we go green again with Rockin, a 3-second penalty. They're really adding up now. Prime typically races very, very cleanly within the track limit, so it's rare to see him get a penalty, and that could really play into the race later on in the battle for the podium with Armchair Bike. I don't know if Merin has rejoined us. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, he's gone solid again, so it looks like he's managed to rejoin us. So that's good for our podium. Armchair Bike then 4/10 back from Prime as they head down out of the S's and down towards the stadium. Armchair Bike with less grip at this stage, but the performance will come to him in the next few laps relative to Prime, who now wants to get by Michel in a hurry. Runs out wide, should get DRS here, Prime. But it's after the start-finish line, interestingly enough, because of this huge, long train. But Michel, crucially, has got DRS ahead of him, so he needs to dispatch Michel as quickly as he can. Michel's tyres must be starting to wane. The soft tyres from the start. The front two really out of sync in terms of pit stops with the rest of them, although might well be on plan A for their intended strategies at this stage. So Prime out there, we've got one hard tyre runner, Rockin, currently running 9th, which is very nice indeed. Drax gets by, or is challenging, finally gets the job done on Tommy further down, but while the battle is so strong at the front, you'll forgive me for focusing on that. That's where the big points are paying and where the championship connotations are taken in. Oh, here comes Armchair Bike, very impatient to get by Prime, runs side by side for the second time going into the stadium. Prime holding him off with some good positioning of the car. Another penalty flashing up on screen with one of the Passion drivers, I believe. Afraid I didn't catch it. And Prime then 4/10 back from Michel. Michel's still getting DRS, so not much help. Merin has rejoined and is right up there with Armchair Bike as ever. Prime just skipping across those entry curbs again. Very, very tense here. Tidal Wave, another penalty for Tidal Wave. Really, really racking them up tonight. I don't know if he's going for a disqualification or a record. I think you get about 26 seconds and then I think you get disqualified. I think that's the most I've seen anyway. Prime taking that inside middle of the road line into the stadium. We'll go again for this, but this time the McLaren is on the other side of the track, but Prime still very Villeneuve-Peroni type side-by-side running, and they run it out to the outside, just giving each other about 4 millimeters of space, but that's enough, and away we go then down the start-finish straight again. Really tucked in behind. Is Prime forced into a move down the inside? Wow, what a move that was. Really forced into it because he was offline, but launched one on the brakes into turn 1. Merin looks like he's going to absolutely gang up on Michel, who drops 3 places in 2 turns, and they come down into turn 4. Merin and Armchair Bike next to each other. Expect plenty of racing room given between these guys, right until the end of the race at least. And up to the podium goes Prime in 2nd, Armchair Bike in 3rd, Merin challenging in 4th, and Alex Pato just managing the car, managing the tyre wear, and hoping to get the car through to a one-stop strategy, which will put him on terms with everybody else that's with him. He's got a small gap at the moment, but it's starting to drop. So now the first car with DRS becomes Armchair Bike, because Prime hasn't been able to catch Alex Pato here. We've lost Instant, and it's a safety car declared just as the just as our leaders go through. Looks like Instant losing it in the S's, and despite everybody apart from Merin has decided to pit. I thought the leaders had gone through, but perfect for Alex. Soft tyres, maybe not quite so perfect, with another 12 laps to run. I think he can do that with perhaps another safety car, so hopefully that'll work out for Alex. Pato out there into 3rd. Drax goes through, looking to go for a long run on the mediums potentially. Everybody else in the pits, several cars already out of the pits. I still think that this penalty for Armchair Bike is definitely going to be pretty important later on. They're leading 4 cars at the moment without penalties, and so is Michel, Ferry, Radical and Tommy, plus Fioretto. Definitely not Tidal Wave. Let's have a quick look at penalties. Tidal Wave, 12 seconds in 14 laps he's accrued, but everybody else fairly modest apart from Alexi in 9th, who's got 9 seconds of penalties so far. As things stand then, Drax up 12, just off the strategy from the rest of the, he's kind of displaced from the strategy. Merin leading the race, but elected not to pit that time out. Radicals gets a penalty, multiple warnings. So Michel up 10 places, doing a good job. Tidal Wave up 6, but it won't look like that at the end of the race if he continues to rack up these penalties and nobody else does around him. We've had 3 stops from Ahmed. Hopefully it's 3, and Tidal Wave another penalty there, unfortunately. It's all going wrong for Tidal Wave tonight. Garbage Man is not happy with a move from Ahmed. It looks like he was responsible for his DNF in his opinion. Prime's on hard tyres for the end. That's going to be tricky after the restart, but he'll be glad to see that Armchair Bike's done exactly the same thing behind him. Just having a look at the replay from Armchair Bike, from Garbage Man. Just a little overlap. That was all it did. Garbage Man absolutely furious. It looked like coming out of turn 6. Just a little overlap and a tap on the rear wheel of Garbage Man was enough to turn him round into the wall, and he lost 2 wheels. Unfortunately, I wonder if we'll be able to get going on this restart lap. Relatively short safety car. The field hadn't spread very far. Yep, safety car due in. Merin will be the fast starter. Drax is the one on similar age tyres, right up there in second place. Is he able to hang on for a few laps while Alex Pato burns off these softs? But Alex is going to have to tiptoe around on these soft tyres to get them to the end of the race. We still have 21 laps, so no, that's not going to happen. Alex Pato banking on another safety car, I think. Away we go then from the final corner. Drax not quite with Merin, but no, nothing particularly dramatic. Let's look a bit further down as Armchair Bike getting the inside line on Prime. Will he make the move stick as they both restart on these hard tyres? Very, very difficult for the drivers. Prime lets him go. Prime it's not worth fighting there and ending up in a wall, so Prime lets him go for now. I'm sure we'll be back on it in a few laps time. No other major moves, but Alex Pato gets by Drax, so Alex Pato up to second on those soft tyres. Job number 1 done. Can he do job number 2 and get by Merin just as quickly? Needs to strike now while the tyres are in their optimal condition, and Merin is likely to be struggling the most. Here he is, right up behind the Williams driver. He just needs to stay with him and he'll get DRS. He'll be able to use some ERS, I imagine. Let's watch his tactics, shall we? 66% on his car, 57 on Merin's. I don't think Merin's going to fight this one too hard. Alex Pato with the fastest lap on the soft tyres at this stage. Absolutely walks by the Williams driver, and that's straight back into the lead as a VSC is declared, and we have a Red Bull off the track, and we've lost Fioretto sadly from the race now, and we'll hopefully be able to see the car as Tidal Wave pits from 14th. Maybe if we look carefully through the exit of the stadium, we'll see what happened to Fioretto. Chester just closing in on the back. Let's see, where is he? Oh, the car just cleared before we could get there to see what happened. Unfortunately, Fioretto out on lap 16. Alex Pato with the lead, with the delta. Race should be neutralised here, but sometimes it doesn't quite work out, depending on where we go green. The rest of the cars doing okay. No major penalties at this stage. We go green now. So, Armchair Bike, next one to come up to Drax. Drax won't have a lot of tyre life to fight with. In fact, he's gone wide through the stadium already. Really struggling to get the car back, get those mediums back up to temperature. DRS is enabled. Armchair Bike should be able to get by here. We need to do it without DRS at this stage. Prime now pouncing to the inside, and as Armchair Bike takes his normal racing line, Prime on the inside slows the car significantly in the on the racing line to not run into the Haas driver. And away we go. Lap 18, reaching the halfway period of the race. It's Alex Pato from Merin, Armchair Bike, Drax and Prime just getting away from the field. Ferry has made up good positions. I know the Haas drivers started quite far down in our race, but they've got some good race pace relative to the rest of the field. Michelle, Radicals, Alexi and Tommy make out your top 10. The Ferraris still haven't got into the points, with Ahmed in 13th, Tidal Wave with all the penalties in the world in 14th, and Chester down in 15th place with a lot of issues so far in the race. Tidal Wave's a long way back after making that pit stop. Alex Pato gets fastest lap again, a 17.508. We start lap 19 with Prime super close to the back of Drax now. Down. He's passed before the braking zone. Prime up to 4th. back on terms with the two fastest cars tonight, Merrin and Armchair Bike, certainly from qualifying. Next up behind Drax is his teammate Ferry, but hopefully Drax will let him by, because in fact I think Ferry just indicating to Drax, have a look, I'm right here, I'm on better tyres, you're holding me up, this is not good for our team point situation, let me on by. Behind those two you've got the AlphaTauri hounding the back of Radicals. Ferry gets a 3-second penalty driving behind Drax, and you've got to think that that wouldn't have happened if Drax had let him through. So a breakdown in communications between the Haas drivers, not cooperating particularly well. Ahmed gets another penalty there, 3-second one. Tidal wave must have hit Furetto. It looks like he's already apologising in the Discord. Furetto not so happy, and he's out of the race. Tidal wave was trying to rejoin the track, so an unsafe rejoin potentially an issue. Ferry still can't get by Drax, and Drax sweeps across the front. Drax is in no mood to play the team game tonight. This is Haas drivers for you, I think, this season. Either on track or in game, only interested in beating each other and holding each other up on track. Perhaps Drax has got eyes forward on the back of Prime, who is struggling on the hard tyres at the moment. Has not been able to live with Armchair Bike over the last couple of laps. Armchair Bike getting past the DRS distance. Alex Pato is really doing very nicely indeed up there in first. He's got a 3.5-second gap on Merrin, and that's going to really help him if he can get a convenient caution period to pit once these soft tyres fade. So he'll have fresh tyres at the end, but he needs a bigger gap than this and a nice traffic-free gap to slot into afterwards. But the regularity of safety cars is definitely holding that one up. Lap 21 of 36. Haas continuing to hold each other up a little bit here. I wonder if Ferry will get another penalty going through this tricky section. He's very keen to get by, but Drax obviously believing he's quicker at this point, or can go quicker. Just taking the normal racing line. Ferry making sure he's in his mirrors. They head on into turn 4, 5, down to the double right-hander of 6. Nice camera angle for us to enjoy. Armchair Bike's caught up to Merrin here. I don't know if the Haas drivers are going to cooperate at all. Armchair Bike 6/10 away. You can barely see Merrin, but there he is now in picture. Let's check out further back. Ferry going to the inside, still not being let by. Ahmed gets another penalty in 12th, so he's in a challenge, I think, with Tidal Wave tonight for who can get the most penalties. Tidal Wave currently on 15, Ahmed on 9, Radicals on 9, and so is Alexi. Up at the front, Alex Pato leads now by nearly 5 seconds from Merrin, and now Armchair Bike is deciding it's time to get by, and as is typical with these two, letting each other by fairly easily until they can really fight just the two of them at the end of the race. Armchair Bike 7-lap-old hards performing a lot better at this point than Merrin's 16-lap-old mediums, and it's really going to depend on how the pit stop timing works with a potential safety car. Any time now really for a safety car. Well, no, maybe any time now would be good for people putting on a medium or a hard set, but maybe a few more laps would be useful for anyone wanting to use softs to the end. I think we're going to have dry conditions going through to the end of our race. So Merrin now 6/10 back from Armchair Bike. Doesn't look like he can live with the pace of Merrin immediately. Ferry's finally got past Drax. So that's finally happened, and it would happen the moment that we turn away from them. So shame on that front. Ferry within DRS range of... have we got a problem for Tommy at the moment? Tommy just slipping back through the stadium, lost out to Ahmed and Jack. Jack now tight on the back of Ahmed here. Close enough for a move, perhaps. Looks like it. Ahmed hasn't been able to hold him off. And Jack up to 10th. Finally, the Ferraris both in the points on lap 23. Still got 13 to go, though, so anything can happen here. We've got Tommy in the pits. I wonder if there was some damage on the car after an issue through the stadium. In the pits comes Tommy. Currently 13th. I think we'll probably get out of the pits just ahead of 14th place Radicals. Chester in 15th. Right behind him, in fact. So we've got a little bit a race of 3 groups pretty much tonight. 5.3 seconds, Alex's gap, and a safety car. Wow, safety car has happened, and in comes Alex. What about Armchair Bike and Merrin? Merrin, certainly. Armchair Bike hits a bollard. Now, that's questionable. Will that trigger an investigation from the stewards? Because if he hit that bollard, he cut across the entry line. And there was a driver briefing from the head steward prior to the race to say you must cross the line before that bollard. So that's definitely an interesting one. And another asterisk by Armchair Bike's race so far tonight. Hitting the bollard on the pit entry. And that could well trigger an automatic penalty from our stewards. Soft tyres going on to Alex Pato. He's confident 12 laps are achievable on a light car, light on fuel. Merrin didn't pit and is going to try and run a 17-lap run on soft tyres. That is definitely going to be tricky. So Alex in a really strong position for this one, especially if this safety car lasts a little while. Is this number 3 tonight? Did anybody predict 3 safety cars? I wonder. Will we get even more? Medium tyres going on for Prime, Ferry, Michiel. So they'll be fairly secure. Obviously they can push but won't be quick initially. But the majority of the drivers going on to fresh softs at this point in the race. Tidal Wave and Chester still in the pits. So Alex, soft tyres, Armchair Bike with a penalty and a possible pit entry issue to sort out post-race. Safety car, we've lost 6 of our runners. That's Alexi just now, Fioretto, Instant, Garbage Man, Epical Andrew and Todd, which is obviously a shame to see. Higher attrition rate than I was expecting here in Mexico. I thought we'd just be getting penalty after penalty from the drivers, which we, in fairness, we've had a fair amount of those, but yeah, not quite as not as many drivers running as I was hoping for at this stage in the race. Ahmed's got up 10 places despite all of his issues and penalties he's picked up. Michel in up 9 contenders for the game awarded driver of the day. Merrin with 2 places down, won't be very happy in 3rd place right now. Radicals down 5. Prime is where he started. And let's have a look at penalties as they currently stand. Armchair Bike and Jack could allow Prime onto the podium tonight with their penalties. And I would strongly suspect post-race, after that bollard hit from Armchair Bike, may well give him an automatic time addition. Not many arguments if you have hit the bollard, is there? Then Ferry also with a penalty, just 3 seconds for those 3 at the front, and then 6 seconds for Rockin, 9 for Ahmed, Radical and Chester. Of course, Tidal Wave with 15 so far in the race. There's your tyre situation. Jack on old mediums, everybody else on fresh or nearly fresh tyres. Merrin in particular, they're just slightly off kilter. Merrin's going to be the interesting one for me, whether he can get 17 laps out of these softs, even with 1 or 2 under the safety car. That's a big ask. We'll get a notification on the safety car. Is that car from Chester close enough? Yes, it is. And the safety car will come in, and Alex gets another restart opportunity. Armchair Bike will be with him, will be aggressive, and is on the same age tyres. Brand new softs. When does Alex go? There he goes. It wasn't in time for Tidal Wave to not pick up another penalty. So 18 seconds now the penalties added up for Armchair Bike. Look at the action we've got heading into turn 1. Cars running 2, 3, 4 wide at different points. Merrin defending from Prime. Prime getting past Jack. Jack, the big loser in that first 2-turn switchback because of those old tyres. And Armchair Bike now trying to stay with Alex. Alex doing everything in his power to get away, but they're on equal footing right here. Merrin on the slower softs. The slower softs may well be in about the same grip range maybe as the fresh mediums on Prime's car. Double wave yellow. Looks like Radical's having an issue into turn 4-5. Looks like he's managed to get back running, thankfully. So we will hopefully avoid another caution. Armchair Bike close behind. Drax gets by Ferry, so getting some more Haas into play. Armchair Bike another penalty, so that absolutely does for his chances of a podium tonight, I think. But he's going to keep trying to take the win on the track. Tidal Wave retires from the race on the final corner. I'll try and have a look at that for you. Let's see from Drax what happened to Tidal Wave. Where is the car stopped? Is it likely to get recovered? Tidal Wave. Radicals turns round, so we can't even get to see Tidal Wave. Tries to turn the car, and there we go. We've lost Tidal Wave's car. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it. And Radicals getting by him there on while he's disappeared. Let's go back up to the lead where things are interesting, and Armchair Bike is 3/10 away from Alex Pato. Should get DRS after the S's briefly. There we go. Merrin gets a penalty as well, so Alex and Prime driving cleaner than Merrin and Armchair Bike, which could have big ramifications for the final standings. Alex will probably allow Armchair Bike by and hope to tuck in behind him for some DRS if Armchair Bike gets by quickly. Alex with the fastest lap though, so in no mood to let people by just yet. DRS is now enabled, and we've got a little bit of a gap forming between the drivers as they go down the start-finish straight, but Rockin forming a bit of a train further back down the order. Let's see if anything's going on here. Late launch from Tommy, but no cigar there. What about Chester? Did Chester get turned round? Yep, he did. Unsafe rejoin directly in front of Jack. Triple waved yellows across all sectors because it looks like Radicals is out of the race. Oh man alive, can't get through a few laps here without there being a problem. This will help Alex defend into the stadium because there's double wave yellows down here. There's the car of Radicals. It disappears. We go back to green flag racing, and Ahmed with yet another penalty, now competing with Tidal Wave for the most penalties tonight, and Tidal Wave cannot answer back. Tidal Wave in the chat does say lost the back end and couldn't catch it, unfortunately. Sorry to see Tidal Wave out. I wanted to see whether he would finish in Austin because of the penalties. But Armchair Bike gets the lead. Remember those penalties though, so Alex will be aware of the penalty situation for Armchair Bike and know that his real race here is against Prime, potentially for the win. Prime dropping to 1 second out of DRS range to Merrin, but Merrin's got a penalty. Just a reminder then, guys, that Armchair Bike's got 6 seconds of penalties, so should be able to gap plenty of the drivers, but I don't think he'll get past Alex or Prime. He's got a 3-second gap on Merrin, who has in turn a 3-second penalty himself. Whoa, Armchair Bike really pushing hard, almost getting another warning there through the S's. So easily done, but he really can't afford it if he wants a decent result out of this race. Merrin, of course, on a conservation run to the end of the race on those tyres, and very grateful for the info from our drivers post-race. Alexei is really angry at himself for something. Hasn't clarified exactly what or why, but suffice to say, he's blaming himself at this point. Michel, let's watch the Aston Martin tackle the Haas of Ferry ahead on equal tyres. Here you see the power of the DRS. In fact, Ferry derating down the straight, that's not going to help him either. Michel, relatively easy DRS pass. Ahmed getting by, I think, Rockin there in the throw, just slightly overdoing the braking zone, having to bail out of the throttle. Rockin gets a penalty, trying to avoid Ahmed really there, I think, and will get DRS to try and get him back. Ahmed gets a second bite of DRS and manages to get through and save that one. Alex is staying with Armchair Bike. We've got another double wave yellow flag, but thankfully no new DNF from a driver. Are we going to make a single lap here without another DNF? We're down to 12 runners. You can see why I try and make sure that I'm commentating on fields of 15 or more, because it's so easy to fall off the track. GG's and much respect to the 12 drivers who remain in the race with 5 laps to go. Armchair Bike leads but has penalties from Alex Pato, who has a good gap to Merrin. Prime will want to start catching Merrin here, and in fact he's now got into the DRS zone. A little bit late for this particular stretch, so he'll have a go on the way out of turn 3 to press the DRS button. Prime doing very well indeed at this stage. He's currently running where he started, but with penalties could well be 2nd or 3rd place tonight. Chester, another penalty for him, as he's now battling with Jack further back. Nothing happening here right now, so let's look at Tommy and Ferry. Tommy, Prime's teammate, in 8th, looking to get as many points for Mercedes as possible, move them up the championship order. I think they're in 4th or 5th position at the moment. Tommy, wow, what a launch down the inside, and he was not treated fairly there by Ferry at all. I think a little bit more respect is due, because that was quite a move. Very good attempt, ran wide but managed to hold on, and I guess if Ferry's feeling particularly aggrieved, might report that for a pass off track, but I think the pass was done before the contact. Tommy forced off the track in my view after a single look, but it's very easy to get things wrong as a commentator, so I'll say no more. Prime has got within 6/10 now of Merrin in the complex. So Prime getting the car stopped down into turn 4 and 5. Now just within a second. In fact, the only car in a DRS zone so far on the track. So absolutely the right one to watch, as Drax completely makes a mess of that for me and catches Prime. Drax on 7 lap old softs, a little bit of life left in them, but Merrin will really be starting to struggle for the remaining 4 laps of our race. Been waiting a long time to get my prime time fix since joining Race Spec, and pretty much because of Prime, because he asked me to come and commentate for his races, and I've not been able to interview him or listen to a happy Prime so far this season. So hoping to get him on the press conference afterwards. Prime then to the outside of Merrin. Job done. DRS before or just on the braking zone. Prime up to P3, 7 seconds back from a 6-second penalty wearing Armchair Bike, and it's now time to really push. Sorry, he's now actually 9 seconds back in total, so really needs to get the foot to the floor without any penalties, just like Ferry's just got awarded. Vast majority of the field with penalties at the moment, just Alex, Prime and Michiel running clean races so far. And let's see if Prime can get within range of Armchair Bike, as Armchair Bike's soft tyres will start to drop off and Prime's mediums will really be in great condition. Down to the stadium. Prime will be hoping to drop Merrin, but Merrin is obviously hanging on here with his DRS. Let's just check out the telemetry. 30% for Prime, 22 for Merrin. What about, oh well, Armchair Bike spent it all to get away from Alex, trying to gap Alex, but Alex won't have any of it. So Prime with plenty in the tank to fight this one and try and get himself up to second place. Watch that gap to leader. That's the one that's really going to matter here. Drax could really do the favours to Prime by making a nuisance of himself behind Merrin. But all to play for at the end of this race in the battle for third place on our podium. And Prime potentially might well get by Armchair Bike if the tyre delta works out the way we suspect. Drax unable to really live with Merrin through the S's. I think that's the aero wake issue. Just thought we'd ride with Drax and see how the car was handling. Struggling to keep up with Merrin. Merrin's got possibly better race pace overall, but really fighting a difficult battle here, trying to keep the tyres alive. 15 laps on those tyres at the moment, with 2 to run for the field. I don't think anybody's been lapped yet with all the safety cars. Here comes Drax though, round the outside of Merrin. Just checking, Drax just checking he can tuck in. Drax's tyres still alive at the moment, wanting to stay with Prime. I don't think Prime's got the pace next to Armchair Bike. He'll be hoping Armchair Bike gets another penalty, but that's about it. Drax though, making a move. Prime defending to the inside. They'll now have to turn right. Oh, Drax unfortunately touches Prime, and the result is a spin for Drax, back down to 5th place now, and that will not help him at all stay on terms. He did already have a penalty, so probably wasn't going to profit overall, but the drivers obviously race hard and want to win or get one over their championship contenders and rivals on track regardless of penalties. Alex is down to 3 seconds behind Armchair Bike's 6-second of penalties, so Alex will need to be very, very careful indeed not to get a penalty himself, because that could cost him a win. A bit further back, we'll just see Ahmed battling with Ferry. Ferry's heading backwards at the moment on track. Ahmed with the penalties won't stay in that position at all. On equal terms with Chester at least. So in terms of tyres, you've got to imagine Merrin's nearing the canvas now. Ahmed launches it into turn 1. Tries to use all of the track to discourage Ferry. Doesn't quite make it, but finishes the job through turn 3. And there we have it. Excellent work. Looks like Prime is not going to be able to feature to tackle Armchair Bike, though frankly I've got my doubts over whether Armchair Bike might get himself a penalty at the end of this one after the race, in addition to the 6 seconds he's already got. But he has just begun his final lap. No, he's won. Armchair Bike crosses the line and promotes Alex to win in Mexico City. Alex with a great win there, and who could feel bad about that one when he runs the server for us. Armchair Bike in 2nd place on the road after penalties, with Prime in 3rd. Congratulations to those 3 drivers for a great podium, well and hard fought. Drax gets 4th as Merin demoted with his penalty in 5th place. Michelle in 6th. Tommy gets 7th place and Ferry in 8th. And I'll wait for the other drivers to cross the line because it will shake out with penalties. Rockin in 9th. Ahmed gets the final point of the night. I didn't quite get to see the final fastest lap, but we'll get that momentarily. Fantastic race. Plenty of safety cars for you to go and get a drink. Drax gets the official Driver of the Day award, and that'll be a small consolation after that race contact with Prime. But overall, it's Alex Pato with the win. Prime pretty happy with that one, I think, and yeah, very happy to get on the podium now. So it's the provisional results: Alex Pato from Armchair Bike in 2nd and Prime in 3rd. So a really good one for you. I hope you enjoyed the Mexican Grand Prix preview event ahead of this weekend. Armchair Bike getting the fastest lap at the end there, starting 2nd, finishing 2nd, but Alex Pato is your winner in the Alfa Romeo for Italy. Armchair Bike, the Dutch driver, and a Finn on the podium. Finally, we get Prime, then it's Drax, Merin, Michiel, Tommy, Ferry, Rockin and Ahmed all getting points tonight. But we've got Chester and Jack went out of the race. Sorry, Chester and Jack did, I believe, finish, but Radical, Tidal Wave, Alexei from Romania, Furetto, Instant Garbage Man, Andrew and Todd all failed to finish our 11th round of the championship. Very pleased to have heard that Alex has joined us. Just to make sure anybody joining the chat that you have set your broadcast audio settings to share always for me. It'd be good just to triple check that one, or someone on the chat will of course let me know if you can't be heard. But Alex, a great win. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. So good evening to all the spectators. GG to Armchair. It was a really hard job, like, to keep up with him, to be honest. I was quite lucky with the timings of the safety car, to be honest. But I think the key for me was like qualifying in P4 and mediums, which helped me a lot for the second part of the race. And that was basically a one-shot quali, so there was a lot of pressure. And getting that lap invalidated was so easy, of course, because grip was lacking. We were lacking a lot of grip.
Yep.
But yeah, in the end, Armchair was simply faster. Like, he showed it in the last part of the race. I couldn't keep up with him, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy for the win. But yeah, I'm not so happy for not winning on track. But it is how it is.
Yeah,
anyway.
Absolutely. You were first out of the pits. You got on with it, which is no mean feat when you're the host and you've sorted everybody out and got all the invites in and everything and are watching several screens. So GG's for that one. You got out of the pits first. You had the very best of the track conditions and chose the mediums, and it turned out to be a really good decision. You also, which is a very rare thing in our race tonight, you managed to run the whole race without catching a penalty. How close were you?
Basically, I was losing a lot of time in the last part of the race because I had 2 warnings. I think I got the second one on lap 23 or something. And seeing Armchair having penalties, I told myself, okay, let's keep calm and try to, because in this track, if you go for 1 centimeter over the white line, you get a warning.
Yes.
So the track limits are super, super strict around this track. It's really hard to try and stay clean, to be honest, in terms of warnings. But I managed to do it, and I'm quite happy about it.
Yeah, overall happy with your performance and setup and things?
Yeah. It was all good. I just changed something from qualifying to the race, just some tire pressures. And then I tried to... I just had 1 click less for the last restart, basically, of front wing, just to have that straight line speed. And because of new softs, grip was there anyway, so I didn't need that much downforce. Anyway, yeah, it turned out very well, and I'm really happy about it. But again, GG to Prime and to Armchair, who did a really, really good race as well.
Yeah, no, great stuff. So 2 wins and a second place, 3 podiums so far. This middle section of the season, certainly helping you climb up the order, I'm sure, once the results are through. But congratulations to Alex Pato, brilliant stuff. Let me bring in Armchair Bike. Armchair Bike, you won it on the road, but with 6 seconds of penalties, it was a tough ask to gap Alex at the end.
Yeah, you basically just said it there. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like what? Yeah, it was like I can't swear on this channel, so I need to. It was a stupid race. Let's just say that the safety cars were just.
The safety
absurd.
cars were crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Like I was racing, and the first corner I was in, I think yes, I can overtake him. Virtual safety car. Next corner, safety car. Next corner,
Yes.
safety car. It was just stupid. Thanks to that, Alex, yeah, basically sort of won because he went on the softs. I think the last, before you went to another soft, you went to the soft. I went on the hard, so I knew you're gonna need to make a stop. So I knew I basically won because I know back in traffic it's horrendous. Jesus. Never want that again. But yeah, GG's to Alex, GG's to Prime. But I'm just focusing on Marijn and I won points on him, so I'm happy.
Of course. Yeah, you got points on him. And were you in a chat with him tonight?
Yeah.
So,
he was,
what
he
did you
was
think to
swearing a
his
lot.
strategy call then to try and run 17 laps on the soft at the end?
It was like he was putting on new softs, but Koopmans thought, nah, let's put them on old softs.
Yeah, yeah.
Cody's being Cody's, I think.
But
Yeah.
you also looked incredibly aggressive after each restart. You were scything through the field. Any hairy moments for you tonight? Any times when you were worried about DNFing?
Yeah, going to the S's. That
Yeah.
was just heart stopping every time I go there because I feel the grip going away every time I just stare in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I lost it at one time and I magically saved it. I don't know how. But yeah, I'm happy to not DNF because otherwise I will be effed. Let's just say that.
Indeed. One last thing to ask you is contact with the bollard on pit entry. It seems
Contact with who?
with the little stick bollard on the pit entry. Looks like you hit it into the pit lane ahead of you as you made a late decision to pit.
Yeah,
Nope.
I don't know.
No comment. Okay.
I don't know. I don't notice that. I just go in. I think, okay, wait,
Well,
safety car,
what's-
self-sauce.
Watch the stream back, and you might be able to catch it. I think it was you or another McLaren that touched that bollard, but I'm sure it'll shake out. Someone will mention it later. But congratulations, a good second place anyway, and good points against Marijn. It's Marijn, I pronounce it right. I'm
Yeah,
saying
Marijn.
Marijn.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He also lost his internet mid-race. So
Yes, he
could
did,
be
yeah.
DNF'd.
Yeah.
So
So
just
lucky
saying.
to get back in.
But the funny thing was, he was still on party, but he was kicked out of the game because of his internet.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. All right. Well, yeah. Congratulations, and you'll extend your lead at the front of the field, at the front of the championship. Prime, can we come to you? Prime, we've been waiting a long time, but is it finally prime time tonight?
First of all, it's wonderful to hear your voice and for a long time. So yeah, you were right about that one. That tonight was prime time.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Excellent. How did your race go? Did you enjoy it tonight, or was it just very stressful?
I totally enjoyed it. Absolutely enjoyed it because I got only 2 warnings today in Mexico, and this was my first race in a long time without any 3-second time penalties. Very surprising how I survived from the SS, and also the safety cars was a bit of a messy today, but it helped me on tire strategy management a lot.
Yep. Yeah, looked like at the end of the race, I was expecting you to launch away from the Haas and from Marine, but you didn't seem to have a lot of pace right at the end of the race relative to the 2 cars ahead. I was hoping you were going to get into contention from Armchair Bike's penalties.
It was just because I was losing a lot of ERS
right
on the straight. I just wanted to keep my position secured from the Haas and from the Williams. And the last lap battles, they were really intense. I don't know, after that corner in Sector 1, where I collided with Haas.
Yep.
Haas did a spin. I hope that wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional from me because I don't have enough space from him, but unfortunately this is racing and everything can happen on the last laps. So yeah, anything else? Yeah, Armchair was a bit of a difficult rival today. He did a very good call with going to the softs with the last 10 laps after the lap safety car. So congratulations for him to the second place, and of course to my good friend Alex Pato, congratulations for your win in Alsa. But I'm quite disappointed that you and Alex, you stole my Alfa Romeo seat, and I have to mount in Mercedes seat because Alfa Romeo is my favorite team. And
one thing that's good is I think Mercedes got the most points tonight.
Possibly, me and my Slovakian friend. He's a Valtteri Bottas.
Brilliant stuff. Well, congratulations, Prime. Great to have you back in the press conferences and back on the podium. So, congratulations to our podium drivers. Thanks to everybody involved in the show tonight, especially to everybody watching. Make sure you've liked the video, please, before you disappear on us, and you've subscribed to the channel. Remember, you can find me on Twitter at WebberRed5 and see my other races. But until next time, guys, we will catch you on the next race day.
Be ready for next prime time.